Welcome. So tell your story, girl. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah. So Amare Global crossed my path at a very divine moment. I was actually thinking about leaving the industry and going back to tech. When I was working on Wall Street, I was actually a technology architect designing the trading system. So I've always been on the tech side. And, I ran into my own health roadblocks a few years ago. And despite like my vast knowledge in this space, there was something missing. And, I was experiencing things like memory loss and issues with word recall and exhausted during the day. And then at night and wired and tired. Can anybody relate to wired and tired where you're up all night, but you're exhausted? And so something was not right. And so that kind of led me down all the paths. And keep in mind at this time, I had been health coaching for upwards of 8 years. So I had worked with thousands of clients, and here I am like secretly. I go down all the routes, right? The hypothyroidism route, the adrenal fatigue route, the hormone balancing route, the cognitive repair route. I even went to physical therapy, you guys. Anybody can relate to the rabbit holes without any answers. And, I was seeing functional medicine doctors, naturopaths, all the things. My blood work would keep coming back normal, but I was like, something's wrong. And just as I was about to go like literally on some medication, some pharmaceutical medication, 2 days after that doctor's appointment, this crossed my path. And a friend called me and she said, you really need to take a look at this new and emerging science around the gut-brain axis. Everything that they talk about in this is what you talk about. You really need to take a look at it. And it was an outer body experience for me because, for those of you who maybe you can relate to this, when you're not feeling good and nobody has answers, you start to feel like you're crazy. Like it's all in your head. And that's where I was. And so when this science crossed my path, I was really hopeful for the first time. And I had the pleasure of going out to the corporate office before we launched to the market. And I had the opportunity to sit with our chief science officer for 7 straight hours in a conference room. And I was literally blown away. And of course, I was very hopeful that this was the missing link for me as well. And, but he really laid out this vision of helping people take their mental and physical health to the next level, optimizing this gut-brain axis. And so that's when all the light bulbs went on. Me personally, I have struggled with mental health issues, addiction, and eating disorders. Secretly, for many years. So when they talked about, these mental health, mental wellness issues, I could really relate to that message and that mission and that need to help bring those issues to light and elevate the conversation around them. So I got really excited for the first time in a long time. And I had the honor of being able to come to the market during our pre-launch time. And it's been one of the most extraordinary experiences. I'm so honored and grateful to be able to be, and privileged to be able to be a conduit for this much needed message in our world. So that's a little bit about how Amare crossed my path. Of course, it was the missing link for me. I have so many health stories that I could share, but I won't go into them here. A lot of them you can read in our customer group, our really powerful customer group. So yeah, that's how I got here.
I love it, Jess. You're a little bit slow in terms of the internet, so hopefully we'll be able to, by me talking a little bit, we'll get you back on track. So from all that stuff, from all these issues that you had, right, hormonally, everything else that was going on, what do you think was almost the deepest point for you? And I just want to just really get into it real quickly, and then we'll move. And how do you think Amare particularly got you out of that? How did the products actually get you out of that, right? How did them, and then we'll talk about the business side too, but I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. So, I've been on this journey to kind of take my mental health to the next level for many, many years. And 6 years ago, I decided to give up alcohol. And so I have not had a drink of alcohol in over 6 years. And I was really excited to kind of get that one last crutch out of my life, and to be able to show up fully and with the people I love and care about and for my clients. And so I was really excited for that next milestone in my life. But I will say, after I stopped drinking, it unmasked a Pandora's box of health symptoms. And that's really what triggered the health symptoms. And I thought, gosh, if this is what sober looks like, I might go back to drinking, right? Because I felt terrible. And come to find out, and of course we know a lot more now how alcohol really, contributes to leaky gut, dysbiosis, and all these mental health issues, right? And so I was really struggling during that process of trying to figure out, like, something's wrong, but nobody had answers, right? And come to find out, like, I just needed to rebalance the gut after all of those years of alcohol and repair that leaky gut. So yeah, I mean, once I started to do that, it finally felt like my brain was firing on all cylinders again. I never forget when Dr. Sean said to me, he's like, does it feel like your brain is low on cell phone bars? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly how it feels. Like, thank you for articulating that in a way that I can understand it, right? And so again, like, a lot of people, give up various addictions, whether it's sugar or alcohol or, all of these things, and nobody's told how to repair their body after that. So here we get to be a part of that message, right? This is a very simple thing. When somebody quits drinking, one of the reasons why they relapse is because they feel so terrible, and nobody's coming in and telling them, how do you get that gut healed? How do you get the neurotransmitters pumping again? How do you get them talking to your brain again correctly? So that was a little bit of, just in terms of my own journey, what triggered it and how it's really improved the quality of my life. And now I get to pay that forward. I get to pay that forward in a time when, mental health and addiction issues are the number one cause of disability. And I feel so privileged to be a conduit for this message and to be part of the solution, right? I mean, you just see all the news all the time of suicides and this and addiction and, anxiety and depression. And everybody just talks about it with awareness days and GoFundMe's and all these things that aren't really like helping people live in the solution. So I feel so passionate about being that messenger, and you can do something about it. And it's beyond thoughts and prayers, right? You can repair your body, get it optimized, and be able to show up for the things that are important in your life.
Yeah, I love that. I love it, Jess. And your transformation has been so amazing. I love the transformation that you've also done business-wise, because I want people to know, right? Because you've had a major transition, really going, and we call it from WallStreet to Amare. That's been a journey, right? But you were a high person. I mean, you had a six-figure salary in WallStreet, right? 6+ figure salary. So how does that transition, and what kind of message do you have for people who are kind of like, wow, this sounds interesting, but I'm not sure if I can do it. So what's been your journey and all that? Love to hear.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. It makes me laugh a little bit because, I sat in a cubicle all of my career. I would have been the last person people would have thought would be interested in something like this, right? But secretly, I was Googling, how to create additional streams of leveraged income that entire time I was sitting at my desk. And so I actually left my career back in the last market crash. And so this is kind of full circle for me. I get to see this again. And so that was in August of 2009 is when I decided to walk away. And, for me, I really wanted the very income producing activity in my life to be tied to something that was transformational for people in the world. And you know what wasn't? Working on Wall Street, right? So when the market crashed in 2008 and we were designing the trading systems that handled a lot of the derivatives trading, which is that kind of like sketchy trading, right? But it's totally legal. And I knew people that were losing their homes. I knew people that were losing their retirements. The market crash deeply affected my parents. They lost everything. And I just remember driving to work every day thinking, gosh, if I died tomorrow, did my life have any meaning or purpose when I spend 10 hours a day at this job? And that light bulb just really went off for me. There was a few marker moments there, right? That made me think, gosh, if I don't try this now, then, when is it ever going to be a good time? But I had built up my health coaching or wellness business to around $1,000 a month. And as soon as I did that, I was like, okay, I know how to double, triple, 10x, right? As soon as you can figure out how to do $1,000 a month, and you know how you can create a full-time income off of that. So as soon as I did that, that's when I decided to take the plunge. And I really just figured if I failed, I can always go back, right, to some job I didn't like. So if I didn't try and I didn't know, I'd always be wondering. And so that was back August 31st, 2009 was my last day. And again, I built up a very substantial health and wellness coaching business aligned with actually another network marketing company. And then when my health took this nosedive, I got very disenfranchised, right? Because how can I help others when, I'm not feeling well myself? Like from an integrity perspective, it just didn't feel good anymore. And that's when Amare crossed my path. And I think the interesting thing about Amare is that, we all know that when it comes to this industry, timing is everything. And I know everybody says that over and over again, right? It's kind of like, oh yeah, timing. But it's so true when it comes to all the factors colliding around this mission right now. And that excites me, right? This new science, this paradigm shift around mental wellness and mental health, people talking about it. And then here we get to come in and actually be the solution, right? That category creator. And who would have thought that we would be in a pandemic right now? Like as we're filming this, right? I mean, 2020, I don't think any of us, cheered in the new year thinking this was going to be our life, right? And if mental wellness issues were the number one cause of disability before the pandemic, I mean, it's definitely going to be, exponentially multiplied with isolation and stress and job loss and financial stress. And so I just think, gosh, we have such an opportunity to step in with real solutions, real tangible solutions for people that have massive relevance right now, right? I think of like some of the other industries people are in, and I'm like, I don't know how relevant that is anymore. I don't know if we're going to go back to business as usual after this.
Yeah, we'll have things. And I love the innovation of all of this too. If people are here saying, well, how do I do it, right? What is something that I kind of like this, I'm interested, I like the mental wellness idea, but hey, I don't think I can do it. What would you say to them?
Yeah, well, I say I'm an introvert that sat in a cubicle my whole corporate career, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. And you have to want it bad enough. Like for me, I am just so like tied to people's transformations and the impact that I'm able to make in people's life. That drives me every day. And so, when you come from it from a very heart-centered place, it'll really fuel you. And the other thing is joining the right team that has the right leadership with the right tools, right? And so I think from that perspective, Anna Marie, I mean, you just bring so much to the team and all of your different skill sets, and people that have the privilege of working with you know that. I mean, you have so many gifts that you bring to a team. I think that's really critical. And then, just be okay to be a beginner, right? It's okay to be a beginner and start over again, and know that you're going to have to skill up. I mean, I paid $150,000 for my college degrees from Carnegie Mellon University. And I figured, I can't get a refund for that, right? That's how much I paid to learn how to do a job I didn't like. And so with this, you get to come on, you get to get healthy and share your experience. That's all we do here, right? It's pretty cool, actually. It's kind of a no-brainer. And then you learn as you go and give yourself some grace to skill up in this new industry. And so that's what I would tell people. And I would say, in terms of a financial opportunity here, I was able to completely replace my corporate income in 15 months at Amare. And I started over from scratch in 2017. I left my entire business that I had built with another company and went all in with Amare and did it all over again. So it's possible. And I think timing has a lot to do with that. And that's the timing we're in. And then I have a graph right now. I almost want to share it. Somebody sent it to me yesterday, and it's the Google searches of work from home now. And it compares it from 2004 all the way to right now. And, when are we ever going to be in this? Well, hopefully we're not going to be in this time very long.
What does it, Jess? I'm curious. I don't know if you can share it or not, but I'm curious about what does it say?
Yeah, it's just up like 20 times ever, when you compare it to all the different years. and I can share it actually, if you want me to. It's really,
Sure. Yeah, it'd be fun.
yeah, so a mentor of mine sent this to me yesterday and I'm like, yep, we're in the right place.
And guys, while she's looking for that, if you have any questions, we'll go next on if you have any questions towards Jess. So I'd love to hear.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to make it bigger. Yeah, so you see 2004, the interest over time is down by like, I'd have to see like how much that's searching for. And you can see now it's all the way up to 100.
Other people search for the words work from home, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Very nice. Very interesting.
Yeah. So again, you have to be at the marketplace right now with a relevant product. I think about Amare. I think about Peloton. I think about the meal delivery services, right? You have to be in the market with the most relevant product right now. And here we are. So that excites me, and excites me to help break the silence and end the stigma around things that affect everybody's families, right? And to talk about it and to bring awareness to it and to help people move into how to feel better.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Jess. This was phenomenal. I'm curious if people have any questions in the time that we have left, is specifically towards Jess and how to, we have several people who are new, we have people who have just joined Amare, who are new to Amare. So any kind of specific questions for Jess? I mean, she's an executive leader. She's lots of experience. She's built really rapidly. So I'd love to, open up the floor, see if you have any kind of questions. Anybody? Just unmute yourself. If you don't know how to unmute yourself, just unmute yourself.
Linda, what does a typical day look like? I almost feel guilty because my husband's now working from home and he gets to see what I do all day, right? And so that's been a little bit of an adjustment. He still works on Wall Street. And so that we met at the company that he still works at. And, he's on meetings, on conference calls all day long, and I come on, I'll do, my day is very structured. I will say that I have a habits tracker that I follow, and it has all the things that I do every day. So it's like my new connections, my follow-ups, if I'm coming on and doing some training or doing an opportunity, Zoom or something. So I'll have that all mapped out. But I would say, I'm about probably 5 to 6 hours a day, but that's also like with my podcast and building out my blog episodes, which all link back to Amare. So I build a lot online just because I have a technical background. And yes, my next episode, I'll give you guys the habit tracker screenshot. Of course, you can just download. It's a free app. It's called Habits. And I like to, anybody else like to check things off of a list or cross things off of a list? Yes. So again, I do have very targeted time for Amare. So connections, follow-ups, new wellness partner, strategy sessions, training, things like that. And then I also do a lot in my online space where I'm building my digital footprint, if you will, right? So if that's something that interests you, Anna Marie has a lot of experience in that as well. And, there's a lot of opportunity there right now.
Well, and also our Facebook group, right? Level Up Leadership has lots and lots of resources. So I love that too. And Jess is absolutely a leader in there as well. So that's awesome.
So I have one more question. So with this business, what would you say is your sort of customer to business partner ratio?
Oh, let me I know exactly how many I have of each. Let me calculate that out as the data person that I am. So let's see. Yeah, it's about, let's see. Yeah, it's about 4 customers to every 1 wellness partner. So really, really, really good. And what that means for those of you who maybe are new to this industry, when you have a ratio like that, it means that you have a product that people are buying over and over again as consumers, right? And that's so important to have a ratio like that, just for sustainability purposes. So that's actually, thank you for making me calculate that. I've never done that before. Yeah. 1 to 5. It's about a 22%. So yeah, like one to 4.5.
And actually, there's another point to that is, with all the rulings that have come down in the last 5 years, companies actually have been shut down when they've got 90% builders only, meaning that somebody comes in as a customer and they're kind of forced to become a business partner. It makes it look kind of like a pyramid scheme. So this is, it's really important to have that ratio. And I can see why Amare has that ratio, because these products, they just work. And yeah, I've been taking supplements since I was 21, and that's a long time ago. And from the second I tried these, every single time. And so there we go. That's the backbone of our business.
Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Yes, absolutely. I agree. Any other questions? What you're curious about? Any tips?
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Linda, about the FTC. I don't think people realize how important that is unless you've been in the industry, right? For those of us who have been part of or seen the things in this industry. So that is really, really important.
Okay. Absolutely. No other questions, guys?
Is anybody here working a corporate job that is kind of looking at this from an entrepreneur perspective, or just a secondary stream of income perspective?
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Hi. I've been actually a Montessori school teacher for the last 25 years, and I have also been coaching for the last 7 or 8 years, but my business has always been face-to-face. So this on the line and on the computer and the phone and all that is really new for me. So I'm still adjusting to how to make it work, put it together. But my goal, of course, is to retire and have this full time as part of my coaching. And I just love already so much about Amare, but I'm still learning. But thank you so much for your encouragement. I really appreciate that. All the here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And this is a big transition for the world, right? As we kind of go through this awakening together. I don't know how else to call it, but but yeah, this shift into this online space. And we've been doing this for years, so we are really excited to mentor and help those that are transitioning into this. And so just know that the good news is this is what we were made for, right? Not necessarily like a quarantine, but definitely a work from home. So just give yourself grace as you're learning the new technology. It can be a little overwhelming with a lot of different things, and don't hesitate to ask for help. And
okay,
hopefully you can, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jeff. Patricia here, and I am new to Amare, like a few days, and I was wondering what you would say to invite a professional, whether it's anywhere from fitness to a doctor, but someone in that field, in that capacity, that is helping other people. What would you do to invite them? I'm thinking of LinkedIn.
So some invite wording around that.
Mm-hmm.
So so I work with a lot of medical professionals and a lot of people that have followings, whether it's health coaches or fitness studios or yoga studios and things like that. And so the way I approach them is I say, hey, I'm looking for some strategic partners in my area that are passionate about helping people achieve optimal mental and physical health.
Okay.
And we have come to the market in this space that's really relevant right now called the gut-brain axis.
Okay.
And do you know anybody who might be a good fit for that? So I always use the indirect way. And if it's them, great. If not, they refer somebody, great. Yeah. But right now too, it's like, it couldn't be any more relevant, right? So for right now, people that have businesses shut down, I'm saying, I would love to come in and help you add extra value to your membership base right now and help you build a secondary stream of income. And people are really open to that right now. A lot of fitness studios especially have shut their doors and they've stopped the membership auto renews because it's not very, ethical, I guess, to keep charging people if they're not there. And so they've lost all of their reoccurring revenue right now. So we have 2 studios I'm about to follow up with after this that I went and said that exact same thing to, and they were really open.
So what would you say, Jess, as we're getting into a reopening phase, right? Because we're going towards that again. What would you say would be a fun way to kind of maybe change it a little bit up and say, what would you say to them? Kind of same question.
Are you saying for wellness partners that are maybe getting re-engaged now?
No, I'm talking about we're going to soon have all these businesses open up again. Like the yoga studios are going to open up. What is a way to, as we're in the next couple of weeks, and maybe still a little bit further away, right? But it's coming. What would be a good way to approach them in that atmosphere? Kind of looking forward a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we can do online workshops with them. Again, it would add extra value to their membership base, right? Their client base. Before this, we were doing workshops in person, like at some of the doctor's offices that I work with, and then we just moved them online, and they work just as well. So it's kind of fun to do it online and not have to be traveling around. But I don't know. I don't know if things are going to go back to normal soon. I don't see a lot of things going. I don't see myself. I don't know. It's like, am I going to go to my hot yoga class in a couple weeks? I don't think so. I don't know if fitness is I think they're going to be really impacted by this going forward. That's just my personal opinion, but there's just so many things that I think we're going to question after this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Mindy had a question. You see one? Can you type those wording to professionals? Yeah, we can absolutely type it up. And let's put it in the Level Up. Can we put it in the Level Up, the Facebook group that we have, right?
Yeah.
But she has a lot of this too. We have a lot of it already lined out, guys. I'm going to actually refer you to the Level Up Facebook group.
Wording is my jam. Coming from the corporate world, I feel like that helps me in that aspect,
Yeah, where can people find it, Jess? Because you've done so much about it. What's a good way? Where can they find it? But
the wording is in the onboarding document that is pinned to the top of Level Up Leaders. But we could do some extra wording right now that's relevant around the coronavirus and people, studios needing additional streams of income. I'm happy to type that up.
Perfect. Awesome. Any other questions, guys, before we letting Jess go? It's 11:33, but I think we're good.
Which one?
Really valuable.
Which one's the onboarding document?
You're so welcome. Hi, Mindy.
Hey,
how are you?
Hi, good. Sorry, you get a picture today because I'm not presentable. I've been busy with my 6 kids this morning. So you said the onboarding document. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which one's the onboarding documents? So when I get there, I know what I'm looking for.
So when you go to Level Up Leadership, which is our new combined group, which we're really excited to have everything in one place, there's an announcement. Yeah, I know. We're trying to simplify. I'm a minimalist, and I how simple can we make this so that all of our time is spent in impact, right? And income producing impact instead of administration. So if you go into that group, there's an announcement post. You click on that document, and that has our 10 simple steps to success. And I think it's in step 8 where the document can be found with the wording. But go through that, please go through that, and thoughts, feedback, suggestions, especially if you're new. I would love to hear, how did that flow for you? How did it feel?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And can you add some of what you said this morning that you say to professionals in there, or do a little side note? Because I was trying to write and I was like, oh, she said it so beautifully. I need to practice that and then personalize it. So.
I mean, I say that over and over again to people. So when I'm doing my reach outs, I'm like, hey, totally adore you and your opinion, right? Depending on how close I am with somebody. And I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. I am looking for some strategic partners to bring this, this new science to the area, this much needed science or something like that. But I can write it up.
Oh, I'd love that. Thank you.
Now's the time to connect with everybody who has their doors closed.
Awesome. Well, I love it. I love what you said. Any other questions, guys? We're going to go towards a little more about how to approach healthcare professionals, and with the new system with Jess, we're going to talk about that next too, right? But any specific other questions right now? Otherwise, we'll stop this recording. No? Okay.